We had absolute insanity in Bryant-Denny Stadium yesterday. Final score, Alabama 27, South Carolina 25. This game was phenomenal. Little noon kick, you say, oh, okay, well, Bama, they lost to Vanderbilt. They're going to bounce back, right? A nice little 20-plus point spread. South Carolina didn't look great against Ole Miss, and then you were checking this game in the fourth quarter. You're like, hold up. Turn the channel. Get Bama, South Carolina on the TV right the heck now. And, y'all, it provided a ton of entertainment value. A lot to talk about here. Make sure you're subscribed, whether you're a Bama fan, whether you're a South Carolina fan, whether you're a college football fan, want you a part of this. We appreciate you in advance for getting dialed in and being subscribed. Also, let me know what you thought about this game. Instagram, Twitter, at JD Piquel. Tweet at me, DM me, all that. Just let me know what you thought about this game. So as I was sitting down to do my reaction for this and kind of put pen to some of my thoughts, like I had a lot of emotions, a lot of different thoughts running through my head when it came to assessing this whole thing. First, I think South Carolina is pretty freaking good. Like, there's always sort of, I think, this thought to discredit the opposition and say, oh, well, Bama didn't play great. Bama did not play great. But South Carolina, I think, is a really solid football team. I'm also sitting here saying, like, okay, did the Alabama-Georgia game really happen? Did I dream that? Because the Bama that we saw in the first half of that game, I have not seen since. And I understand now that you can't be the same team every single game. Like, that's why college football is the greatest sport on the face of the planet, because it's so volatile. But, like, I have been confused about Bama since that spot. And this game further confused me. Like, what is the deal with Bama? Feels a little bit now like they're maybe playing to the logo. You got Georgia on the schedule. Awesome. Get dialed in. Get ramped up. Let's all go get juiced up and play our best football. We got Vandy on the road. Kind of sleepy. That logo doesn't provide as much excitement. You get got. South Carolina, a little more juice with the logo. If you're Alabama, off a loss is probably the most concerning part of this. Like, it wasn't so much this game was close that I think concerns Bama fans. It's the fact that old Bama would have previously kicked the teeth in and obliterated whoever was on their schedule next after they lost the game. Clearly, that is not the case in terms of what happened in this one. If you're Bama, you probably feel pretty fortunate to win this football game because you had the late touchdown from South Carolina. They go for two. They missed on the two-point conversion, which really was an open throw that was missed on. Good job by Alabama being timely, getting pressure on LaNorris Sellers. And then you have the onside kick that you don't recover. And it's like, oh my gosh, like this thing is just, again, to some degree, it's as important, if not best, to be timely, but you wish it didn't go 4 quarters, and you wish that you were able to just be Bama to some degree and be the more talented and better operation that you've shown you can be at different points throughout this season. I liked the game plan from Alabama when things got a little bit weird because you felt things sort of go left and South Carolina comes storming back, and Alabama offensively was nowhere near perfect, but I did appreciate, okay, hey, stuff is getting weird. What are we doing? Going to what we know. Going to what we like. Going to our best player. We're going to get some movement, pre-snap, get north and south with him. Get him blockers. And then we're going to get him on the perimeter. We're going to move the pocket. Going to give him options, whether it be have some blockers out in front of him, whether it be give him options to throw the football downfield. Like, putting the ball in Jalen Milroe's hands is exactly what I think the Bama game plan was at the end of the game, and I think it's a big reason why you won that football game. They got to get it figured out if you're Bama. Because if you play the way that you played against South Carolina, I don't know that's going to be good enough against Tennessee. Because I think the concern now is if you're Bama, in addition to what I already mentioned, I think Vanderbilt provided the blueprint to beat Alabama. Feels like South Carolina did their best to follow that. Like, Vandy, God bless him. God bless Diego Pavia. We shoot this show in Nashville. There's a lot of teams in the SEC that Bama still has left to play that have a lot better players than Vanderbilt. To put it simply, they can execute that blueprint a lot better than South Carolina did, than Vanderbilt even did. And Vanderbilt beat Bama. So just something to keep an eye on. For South Carolina, man, this has to be said. That defensive line is must-see television. Like, they are electric factory up front, man. And Jalen Milroe is, lightning in a bottle. One of the best athletes on the field at all times, regardless of position. the way that South Carolina outfit got to him, man, and sacked him 4 different times, that's a real deal defensive line at South Carolina. All right, let's make that known. I think it's also should be known that Shane Beamer and what he's done there, people were very quick, I think, when Shane Beamer and his team underachieved last year to say, oh, man, is he the right guy? The South Carolina, they need to change. And I'm like, all he's done since he's gotten to South Carolina outside of last year is overachieve. And it's very obvious, man, his teams play for him, and also his teams find a way. Like or I guess it wasn't last night, but yesterday afternoon, the way they continued to battle, you had the special teams getting involved. You had, the big Nick Harbor making a catch at the end there. LaNorris Sellers just making play after play. Like, his teams battle. And again, I think that is an embodiment of how Shane Beamer coaches and the kind of teams that he has. They battle, they're gritty, they're high energy. It's what he is, man. The way they were able to wreak havoc consistently, put Jalen Milroe in that offense in just unideal situations from a down and distance perspective, limited what they could do offensively. Just probably have to believe sped the shot clock up a little bit internally for Jalen Milroe. Like, all those things were obviously advantageous and a big reason why South Carolina was in that spot at the end of the game. Going back to LaNorris Sellers, man, I don't know if it's the contacts, going away from the rec specs. I love the rec specs personally. He made several plays yesterday, man, where you sit back if you're a South Carolina fan and say, all right, we're going to be okay. Like, the dust settles on that disappointing game, and you feel like maybe you were good enough in a lot of areas to win that football game. LaNorris Sellers, if he makes a couple more plays, maybe you do win that football game, but you see 16 out there and what he brings to the table, man, you're going to be okay. Going to be okay. Like, in that Vandy blueprint with Diego Pavia, you needed a quarterback with some it factor, with some mobility, with a little bit of off-script potential, and LaNorris Sellers executed that, I thought, at a really high level. And I'm excited to see what he becomes, because they got a good one out there in Columbia, South Carolina. Make no mistake about it. If you're Bama, man, you got to hit the reset. You have to, because you go to Knoxville next week, and they're trying to get right. They're scrappy. They're, in some ways, I don't want to say limping into that game, but they're definitely a little bit discombobulated in a lot of ways. Got to find a way, man. Have got to find a way to hit the reset button and get back to old Bama. I'm excited to see how they respond. I'm very curious to see the way that DeBoer approaches this thing throughout the week. We're going to learn a lot about Bama this upcoming week. But South Carolina, that's a good football team. Make no mistake about it. I don't think you should discredit Alabama all the way for the way that game went and give a lot of credit to South Carolina. But, again, Bama, they got to get right. So, let me know your thoughts. What do y'all think is the issue at Alabama based on what happened in this game? Curious to hear your thoughts. But, again, that was absolute madness. And us as college football fans got a little treat in that noon window. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Make sure you're subscribed. We will keep this party rolling. We will see y'all next time.